Well, the contract of Clayton Oliver is a fascinating one. I mean, you hear the rumours, the innuendo. Do you think he's still up for grabs?
Up for grabs is maybe a little bit strong at the moment with Clayton Oliver, but there has been a lot of chat between other clubs and among other clubs that I've spoken to over the past few days around Clayton Oliver. They believe that he's gettable at Melbourne Football Club. Now, I've spoken to the Demons today. They fiercely deny this. They say that Clayton Oliver's going nowhere. He's got 6 years remaining on a lucrative deal. They like the way he's playing. But the noise is enough for me just to wonder whether something could be orchestrated at the end of the year. Now, if his 7-year deal, of which he's almost 1 year through, that's worth about $10 million, including the TPP uplift. It's a lucrative deal. If he did leave Melbourne at the end of the year or in future years, he would probably be the highest paid player at the club he goes to. I just can't see how a deal gets done with another club, but other clubs are telling me it's absolutely on, so we'll wait and see how it plays out.
Melbourne wouldn't want that because they wouldn't want to devalue him, but that's one of the worst contracts we've ever seen, if you're telling me that is the figure.
Full TPP uplift, and at the time it was signed, he was a superstar.
So if you're Melbourne, you've got to do everything you can to get that salary off your books, and if that means you need to trade one of your picks to the club that is willing to take that contract, you absolutely do that.
Melbourne, like Jack Bowes.
Absolutely.
You're saying that Melbourne should pay to get rid of him.
You cannot have the distraction of Clayton Oliver, not only in the form that he's in, but the off-field stuff, and this going on for 6 years with $10 million tied up in your salary cap. If a club wants to take that off your hands, that is an absolute blessing. And to make that happen, you put your first pick on the table, pick 15 or whatever it's going to be for Melbourne.
But Kane, how do they sell that to their members?
I
love your creativity, but Gary Lyon said recently he might go down as the greatest Melbourne player ever.
Well, yeah, and you
absolutely
absolutely thank him for the player that he's been and what he has done for the football club.
You don't think he can get back to it?
But you say we've made an error with this contract. We cannot afford to have $10 million tied up with a player.
It's too soon to make that call. He's got 6 years remaining. Give him another 12 months.
Do you see him turning this around?
Yes.
You see him getting back to the player that they thought they were getting.
I think it's entirely possible he does. He's had a terrible finger injury. He's had a shocking off-season.
So why is he on the trade table?
Well, I'm not saying he's on the trade table.
Well, you're saying there's noise. Noise doesn't start from nowhere.
No, noise doesn't start from nowhere, which is I'd love to know.
And it started last year when he was on the trade table.
Yeah, that's right. And they should.
So why are they putting up for trade if they think he can get back to the player that they thought he was?
I'm not saying they're putting him up for trade, but I'm saying
they did last year. Did they explore that last year?
They explored it. The Adelaide Crows were keen, and there were people around Oliver who believed that it would have been better for him to be traded, but at the end it didn't work. And the Crows, I think, would be a lot better off with Oliver than what they are without him at the moment.
Lordy, quick take from you on this?
I don't think another club would take Clayton.
Even with a pick?
Probably not because of the baggage, and I'd want to see another year of Clayton Oliver playing proper football, the football you know he can, before I'd touch him.
The team they beat on the weekend, is it deja vu for Bombers supporters?
Is it deja vu? I think it's too early to say that, Sam. It's been a poor, last 6 weeks. They've only won 2 of their last 6. They've lost 3 of their last 4 against good sides in terms of Geelong and Carlton. Should have beaten Melbourne on the weekend. Brad Scott was ruthless. Why I'm still got faith is that when they're winning, he wasn't getting carried away. When they lose, he's pretty hard on them. And I think they beat Adelaide Crows and St Kilda in the next fortnight, and they are still in that top 4 mix, so I think it's too early at this stage, as disappointing as they've been, to say it's deja vu.
You're still glass half full on the Mojo.
Yeah, no, I think they've had a great year. They've exceeded my expectations. I think that'll come down to what they can deliver in finals. I think they'll play finals, and if they can win a final, I go, wow, I didn't expect that, and that's a great launching pad for next year.
I want to ask you about Essendon's list management. This was David Barham, the Essendon president, on 3AW over the weekend.
Has Adrian got an end date, though?
No, Adrian, as far as I know, is really important to us. So Sam Durham's out there because of Adrian.
Yep.
Nick Martin's out there because of Adrian.
Yep.
Adrian's very good at spotting talent.
No, absolutely. It's just
the
statement from the club was that he was essentially stepping down, and
that's
a handover plan to Matt.
That's right, and that's what's going on. So Matt Rosa is...
But you're saying that he hasn't got an end date, so he could stay at the club for the foreseeable future?
Well, it depends on how they want to structure up the list and management recruiting department, and it depends on what Adrian wants to do.
So Adrian Dodoro looks after trade and contract. Matt Rosa is looking after draft, Sam. That's how it's playing out at the moment. But are you critical of the way that Essendon's list team is being built off the field?
Well, something's drastically changed there. I mean, they've gone from he's being phased out to he may stay. Depends what Adrian wants to do. Since when is it up to the person if he stays? It's up to the club.
He's been there for 30 years.
The club, he's had a great 30 years, but they decided that he was going to move on and be phased out. And David Barham in a live interview changed the course of that. And ostensibly making it sound like he might continue.
Well, clubs are allowed to change their minds. And
they are.
I think Adrian Dodoro's actually done a reasonable job in recent years in difficult circumstances.
They've won a final for 20 years, Tom.
No, that's correct.
So you couldn't have done a reasonable job.
They're one win off second on the weekend, and he lost to Danaher, he lost Fantasia, he lost Sard at the end of 2019, and they found a way to be competitive again. Last year, Mackay, Gresham and Goldstein for nothing as free agents.
Yep.
You know, Xavier Dersma, they got for Zerk Thatcher in a late pick. So in difficult circumstances, the drug saga, players fleeing the club, coaching drama, I think there's actually some stability around the club right now.
I think the fascination's too great, Sam.
I don't. I don't.
But why don't you talk about Gubby Allen or...
We do. Talk about it all the time. We just spoke about Stephen... You were sitting in that chair when you had a hot seat interview with Stephen Silvani, not that many years ago on Footy Classified. There was a fascination with Sauce in the list management position.
Yeah, I wrote an article about Sauce at the time.
No, but what I'm saying is that it's entirely reasonable for someone who's been at a club for a long, long time. And I really like Adrian. I get on well with him. We're talking about a powerhouse club that hasn't won a final for 20 years.
And you're pinning it on one man.
I'm not pinning it on one man. I'm not pinning it on one man at all. I'm simply picking up on an interview whereby the president of a football club has now changed the lineage to which one of his employees is going to either remain at the club or leave.
Well, Graham Wright's changed at Collingwood as well. I mean, clubs change.
They won the flag last year, Tom.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
So do you think Adrian Dodoro would be picked up by another club if he left Essendon?
Well, that's
Tassie team,
that's
for
an
example.
entirely different question.
Has he still got something to offer to the AFL industry?
I think Adrian absolutely still has much more to offer to the AFL
So why not just
industry.
be at Essendon then, if that's the case? If he's got something more to offer?
Well, that's a different conversation. I'm simply posing the question as to why David Barham and the Essendon Football Club has changed.